Hello student. Sometimes application oriented questions create problem for some students, and here is a questions that is application oriented, and I am going to discuss this question. I will focus upon how to build up its structure and what will be the right content for that. But before I move further, please note one thing, that if you do not have knowledge of basic concepts, then you will find difficulty in answering such a question, because only when you have knowledge of some scientific thing you can develop technology. Likewise, if you have knowledge of basic principles, then only you can apply that. So this is the prerequisite. Okay, here is the question that has been asked in civil service examination 2008, and question say that using the procedure of program learning. So here you should know what is the principles and procedure of program learning. So using the procedure of program learning, how would you conduct anger reduction training for a group of individuals who have been assessed high on anger? Question is simple, that you need to conduct a training program, design a training program, and training program procedures needs to be as per instructional design model. So what is the meaning of this thing, instructional design model? In behavioral term, that is in do and don't. Suppose you say that you should improve your confidence, then this is not instructional design. You say that in order to improve my confidence, what should I do? You tell me in the term, behavioral term, that you should do. In simple term, you say in do and don'ts term. Getting? What should I do? So this is called instructional design model. Getting? Now come for start with this thing. Using the procedure of program learning, first of all, you should write down here that programmed learning what is program learning? B.F. Skinner, B.F. Skinner. These information are just to know. It is a basic thing. And operant conditioning principles. Operant conditioning principle. Actually, program learning is based on operant conditioning principles. And what is operant conditioning principles? I will let you know that behavior, that is called SR, and its outcome. It could be reinforcement or no reinforcement, positive or negative, whatever. And this one delta t, when time should be as minimum as possible. So you know this thing, that this is the principle of program learning. In simple term, it is say that behavior is influenced by its outcome. So this is a technical thing, but in simple term you can say behavior is influenced by its outcome. Or in more specific term or operational term, you can say that reinforced response is repeated. If some response is given by subject, and if you reinforce that thing through positive, then it is more likely to be repeated when similar stimulus will come. S is there, R is given, and then suppose some reinforcement comes. So in future, this R will come again whenever S is there. This is the things. So what is the principle of program learning? This is the principle of program learning. Operant conditioning. And because this is based on program learning is based on this principle, so what is the procedure of program learning? Question is this thing. Actually, program learning is what? PL is what? In technical, we say programming of learning procedure. So it is something what? Algorithm. Like we develop algorithm for some calculations and all. In data science we do algorithm 2 plus 2. So you can program immediately. So it will bring out what? Algorithm of learning. It is also called algorithm of learning. So what is the importance? Here is that 3 and 4 procedures are there that is based on these principles. Because this is stimulus. So this is a stimulus. A stimulus will be very specific. So first principle procedure is that break the task. Its heading will be a step by step. Principle of specificity. It is based on principle of specificity. What is this? That this is a stimulus. Suppose red, green, blue, everything is present. Then you may get confused on what should be the appropriate response in traffic light. But suppose very specific is green, then you know this. So the step by step principle of specificity is that you can directly write, for time being I am removing this thing step by step. Simply principle of specificity, then what will be the procedure? Procedure is that break the task. Suppose this is the task to train some individual. So break it into a smaller unit. Suppose S1, S2, S3, 3 components. Some tasks should be broken down into smaller units. Suppose this task is composed of S1, S2, S3. You break it this one, this specificity, so that a specific when a stimulus is specific, response will be specific. The principle of specificity is that what will be the procedure? Underlying procedure is that break the task into a smaller unit. This is the thing. Second principle is that one by one you can note this one. Second principle I am going to write. This one I have already, this is specificity. Second principle is that immediate reinforcement, immediate feedbacking. I say feedbacking. Suppose this is red, and you give a response on accelerate, then it will say no, wrong. So immediate feedbacking, means task is specific, but when you feedback immediately, then suppose light is red and you start accelerating your car, then immediately wrong. So immediately you come to know this thing. So immediate feedbacking is delta t should be as minimum as possible. You know this thing. Third one is that auto pacing. Auto pacing means the learner should be allowed to learn at their own pace. Own pace means suppose 3 individuals are there and they are being trained through the same method. But suppose there are 3 tasks, S1, S2, S3. So suppose learner 1 has here, but learner 2 has gone up to 3. So different learners should be allowed to learn at their own pace. You should not guide every individual with the same pace, because learner differs in their learning. Okay, and that warrant for customization, customized approach. These are the few things you can program learning technique. The basic principle is this one. Now this is the procedure, first, second, third you should follow. Now how will you design? The question, this is the theoretical part, but how will you design the algorithm? This is the algorithm, program learning. We have algorithm for automation. Now suppose you have some individuals, you want to train an anger reduction training. Anger reduction training you want to develop. Okay, so you will use this principles. So what will be procedure? that first of all A, B and C. Antecedents, this one. What is the S factor? A for ABC model. S for what is the trigger? Trigger. If you get angry, there must be some trigger. For example, if people come late, you get very angry. Whenever you see that people are violating traffic light, you get angry. For I am talking about. So you need to identify that what is your trigger. What triggers this anger response? This is a specific, and this is response. This is B for behavior. Here is B response. So here response is what? Anger. Trigger. What triggers this anger? First you identify this thing. And second thing, anything that is reinforced, it is there. So if your anger is there, then it must be reinforced. So it should reinforcement should be removed. At least there should not be any reinforcement. I'm not talking about punishment, but there should not be any reinforcement for that thing. Suppose you show anger and you get your work done. Suppose you are executive, you show anger on your staff, when he comes late. This is the thing, and he get the work done. He starts coming on time. So then it will be there because this anger is instrumental for getting work done. Somewhat you are being reinforced. But consider a situation that whenever you see some, you are very rigid, that even 1 minute you can't tolerate. That will be dysfunctional thing. So suppose you show anger and that person doesn't say anything. You do not allow the person to see. In that way, you can say the things that reinforcement should not be there. Means this anger showing behavior should not be reinforced. Who is reinforcing? Situation. It is not under your control. So somehow there should be management of contingency, means outcome. Here is the this consequences. If it is our reinforcement, C for consequences, and here I am talking about reinforcement. So we should manage, in order to control this anger, we should manage trigger, we should control this thing. Antecedent and consequences. We should control trigger, we should control reinforcement. So now you can, on the basis of this principle, you can give instructional design. Instructional design. Do, don't. So on the basis of, in the same way, so first of all, identify what makes you angry, trigger. So one possibility that you avoid this thing. Second thing is that be over there, but delay your response, control your response. Remember, you are being asked to design as per program learning as per operant conditioning principle. There is no role of cognitions or other method. Remember this thing. Don't mix. They are asking just to use this technique, program learning technique. So you will use only program learning technique and corresponding principles. Getting my point? Just a second. So first of all, person should, as far as this trigger is there, he should somehow manage the trigger. If you think that I cannot tolerate this thing, then you work in the beginning, you can work upon other assignment. Or if you really want to develop, then you just be there. But this trigger will cause you some anger response. It's autonomic. And now reinforcement. Reinforcement is that situation should not reinforce that thing. This is very important thing. Or if possible, there should be some punishment also. Suppose you show anger and then you are criticized by your colleague. If you show anger, you get disapproval from your authority, higher authority. So this is no more reinforcing. A behavior will get extincted it is no more if it is no more reinforced, or in other terms it could be punished also. So I am telling this thing that at least it should not be reinforced. Your higher authority could manage this thing, that you should not do. So in training program, what will the design say that this is the trigger, this person comes late now, so he enters late, then you are showing this thing, then your the higher authority could be there, he could tell that no, this is not the right way to this thing, you can disapprove this behavior, you can put penalty on that one, but that should be in a systematic way. Don't show anger. Anger is something that when you do not understand the situations, you are showing emotional response. Just show the alternative response. So what should be the, when you have, suppose I identified in a anger reduction program, suppose when you say that S1 is he gives R1, I can say no, this is not this is the anger one. So what should be the appropriate response? This is appropriate. This behavior should be reinforced. This should not be reinforced. Suppose you saw late coming. A game is the anger reduction program. One person enters and then you show, why you are so late? Authority says, no, this is not the right behavior. No, you cannot say this. Then you just say that today your presence will not be counted. Absenteeism. You will be given absent. You will be considered absent. You will not get any wage today. Now say this thing. This is a more appropriate way to show this. So anger is an emotional response. It should be this is not a dysfunctional response. That should be replaced by more functional response. So this S1 you have understood. Now more, suppose second task. Second task is what? That you are doing something and your boss is pressurizing you. So you show anger towards boss. So question no. Suppose this is Rx not appropriate. What is the more Ry? What is more appropriate response? That you should say that I am doing, but because this work is new, it requires something new, so it will take time. So it is not routine work. If you are explaining, this is the right response, then your reinforcement, yes. This way, when you see the task is made of S1, S2, S3 like that, if you continue, then what is the response? Means anger response, and how it should be reinforced in the light of this one. See this thing? Stimulus, response, immediately your outcome should come, and that should not be reinforcing. And if possible, more appropriate response should be connected. Then very soon person learns that in what way this could be channelized, what response should be given. Getting? So R3, R4, S1, S2, S3 like that, you can design a program. Under do and don't. Don't. Do. This is called don't. This X1, this is don't. And this is do. See, this is as per instructional design model. Means, don't tell me what is principle and what should I do. And when you tell this thing you should do, you are using instructional design model. So I have given you a rough idea that how you can build up your answer. What should be the structure? Remember, this design has to be on based on operant conditioning principle, that is program learning. So programming of learning, there should be some steps. This will be the programming structures. The way a computer programmer writes the program, develop an algorithm. So what will be your algorithm, behavioral algorithm to manage anger of the individual, to reduce anger of the individuals. Getting? I hope you have understood. This way if you approach, then you will be able to get good marks because everything you have done. And because this has got application, so you have connected with the right principles, डोंट राइट इन इंट्यूटिव मैनर। आई होप यू हैव अंडरस्टूड। मिलेंगे अगले वीडियो में और बात करेंगे किसी और नए क्वेश्चंस पे। थैंक यू।